All right, folks. Hey, thanks so much for your patience. I know I was gone for several minutes. Just had some catching up to do with my wife, and I feel so bad for prioritizing my wife. I'm sure you guys understand. I'm just kidding. I don't feel bad at all, and I don't expect you mind. So, let's see what we can do to make some bridge models. So because this is a 2x2, I think what I'd like to do is make it look, or it's a 2-wide bridge. I'd like to make it look like there's long planks that go across the entire thing, and that there is like support struts going up one side of each tile, so that together it looks like the bridge has a strong foundation on or a strong brace on the edges, but then in the middle is just strong enough to be a floor. So I just used this one for color reference, so I'm gonna get rid of that. And this one is the same one we're using for ceilings, except for I've changed the colors. And so there's a few things I would like to do to this one to make it a little bit more appropriate for a wood platform. So just for example, Ink says, if I remember correctly, there's nothing new to the Blessed Edition content. Well, I mean, the only difference is to really any of the game content that isn't specific to the UX is just is like levels that I update. And right now I'm not putting together any sort of strict pattern for what I've updated versus what I haven't, because I would like to update all of the levels and all the tile sets. It's just that the mines was the most important one to update because that's the one that people see the most, because when you die you always see the mines. And not every run ends in victory, obviously. So, okay, so even just that, add a little depth to the wood. So I guess what I'm saying is that, I would like to update all of the levels, including like almost all of the secret levels across all tile sets. Has nothing to do with, old content versus Blessed Edition content or whatever. Although in some cases, it's been the longest amount of time for the old content since it's seen any updates, so that might be a reason to, consider that it might earn some favor. Okay, let's, we can lift up these bolts so that they have some 3D-ness to them. So yeah, I mean, I've updated the Haunted Castle, I've updated the Swamp Temple, I've attempted to update the Gnome Mines, but I don't think any update I've made to it yet, I don't think it's been objectively better yet, so I'm not ready to commit to that change. And there's something iconic about the way that the Gnome Mines currently work, and so I'm really hesitant to change that too much. Man, that already just looks so much cooler, the fact that it's 3D. But I don't want that to be the only meaningful distinction, so... I'm back. Was listening to Ace of Spades. Okay, well, I answered some of your questions while you were gone, so... With the interest... yeah, I did. With the interest of sparing everyone else just repeating the same thing over and over again, I encourage you to hop back a couple minutes and you can see my answers. Or listen to my answers anyway. I think I need to do a side view. Let's see. View. Left view? Can't see anything. Oh, there we go. Okay, there we go. I've almost never used these different types of views. But this is a case where it's going to be handy. So then I can pop over here. Oh no, that only took a cross section. So that's not even very useful. Yeah, I don't... If this only selects like a cross section, I don't know that I'm ever going to use this. Yeah. Unfortunate. Okay. I just remembered, you know, Grim Fandango, do you like other Double Fine games like Psychonauts? You know, I never really made it far into Psychonauts, and part of the problem is that I didn't play Psychonauts when it first came out, and so now when I play it, you know, the graphics aren't very good, and there's just things that are dated about the way that it plays, and you know, like it feels a little bit like Banjo-Kazooie, I guess, in that way. But you know, it is on my backlog. Like I really would like to play it and just appreciate what everyone else appreciates about it. But yeah, I actually haven't played that many of Double Fine's games. I played a lot of the LucasArts games that Tim Schafer worked on, and so I know Tim Schafer from his older work. I also played Broken Age, and you know, I thought that was fun, but like again, it wasn't revolutionary in any way when it comes to being an adventure game, and so it's like, you know, it was a little disappointing. Like, it's more like, you know, I love that format of the game. I love that somebody like Tim Schafer can still run a studio that makes games like that. But I think it would be an overstatement to treat those games like they're kind of special. Because they just follow the formula really well. Like, that's what they do. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, you know, because nobody else is really doing it, so it's important that they're doing it. But it's also just like, it's kind of just more of the same. Does that make sense? You love Brutal Legend? Now that's a game I should play, because that's definitely a game that's different than other games, and I would really like to see, you know, I'd really like to have that experience. Okay, so we've desaturated and darkened the second layer of voxels here. I think I would like to make these 4 thick, so we're going to do that by duplicating this down and then moving it back up. And then we'll change the brightness a little and make them even darker underneath. Optimus, Nerman, and Jiggy will almost certainly recommend it. You do? That's awesome. Your copy of Psychonauts didn't work, didn't see anything about Grim Fandango, but you love Brutal Legend. Okay, I see. Okay, so now this is just sort of looking like a standard wood platform, really nothing to write home about. It is 32 by 32, so that's useful. I think this layer is too dark. I'm gonna fix that. This layer of our wood plank sandwich is too much darker than the rest. Sure, something like that. Best part for me is the main villain voiced by Tim Curry. Yeah, Tim Curry's cool. He's a cool cat. Okay, so some of the things that I can do with this is that it doesn't need to tile necessarily like other ones do. And then like underneath, I want it to have like, yeah. It's tough when celebrities that seem like really cool people end up suffering from really serious health conditions, because it's, I don't know about for you, but for me it's a reminder that it doesn't really matter how rich you are or how famous you are or even how good of a person you are. Like, you know, life comes for you, and nobody's immune to that. We're all just mortals, aren't we? So bless Tim Curry and his family, and I can thank him for the art that he's provided to us. Alright, let's actually make this one a little bit redder. Not that much redder. I want to have sort of like a more orangey tone. Nah, that's too much. Let's just increase the saturation. That's actually much more like what I was thinking. Sort of like use a different type of wood for your strong beams compared to your regular beams. And we're gonna rotate this like that, and that's gonna run parallel to the rest of the bridge. So something like this. And this does need to go all the way to the edge so that it can tile. For me, it's heartbreaking. I learned that Michael Clark Duncan died in 2012. The Mountain and the Man from the Green Mountain. Yeah, he's an incredible guy. Also voiced Gorl from Demon Stone and an evil slide lord from... I mean, he had a hell of a voice, right? It's just quite a man, quite a man. Okay, so I think what I'd like to do is not have this. Actually, maybe what I'll do here is just take this section and do something like that. Okay, looks like I'm gonna have to delete this. So I'm just trying to get it so the end voxels tile nice, or not tile, but they end cleanly, because they will end. They'll never tile like the ceiling and floor tiles do, except for in the middle. I should just say the ends will not tile, but the middles will. And so I need to get rid of this sort of clean edge here and replace it with an edge that looks like it's going to terminate. So we'll just do it like this. All right, so now these will look like terminating edges, which is really the goal here. So one other thing I want to do, maybe we'll move the, I really like how the bolts look, but it doesn't really make sense to have bolts like on your walking path like this. So I may just get rid of these ones and these ones. And have them still sunk down, and then we'll have some higher ones on the sides. And then also I do want to put some visible brace on the top. Gosh, this is looking pretty cool, if you ask me. I'm gonna have like an iron brace going over the top here. So that's just gonna be new art. New meshwork. And we'll have it like this. Maybe 2 wide. And it should look like that this massive beam is bolted into this this frame. I'm gonna make it a little brownish because it is iron, so it's gonna be a little rusty. But it's wrought iron, so it's not gonna be like it's not gonna be red like non-wrought iron is. This song is kind of giving me Celeste vibes. I did finish Celeste, by the way. I thought it was you know, the appropriate difficulty. Like, it was, you know, for a game like that, I think it has to be kind of hard for it to keep my attention, and I think it did a good job of that. Okay, so this is like iron band, and I think I'll put some bolts on it too. So like, I don't know, something like this collection of 4 right here, but then I can like copy it here and then increase the brightness a little. And that might be too tall. Ever heard of Keith David? It doesn't really ring a bell, honestly. Maybe I should drop this whole thing by 1 voxel. Yeah, and then I can put some bolts on it and it won't be too tall. Like that. You can have it right here. This song definitely sounds like the early part of a JRPG where the characters are still in high school. That might sound very specific, but... Okay. So in theory, this could be half of a bridge. And just to prove the point, and to test the art, I suppose. We'll call this the metal banding. Ever heard of Keith David? Barricade from Transformers the game. You know what? Like I don't think I'm familiar with him at all. So this is what the bridge would look like in theory. Which I think looks pretty good. I mean, it would definitely be a big improvement. I'm just wondering if I should, you know, call this good enough, or if there's anything else I should do to this bridge. Like I could put another stripe of banding down it. So like... So we'll take that and we could like put another stripe. Like right here. I just don't know that that's any better. I think that actually makes it look like it's tiling more than without it. I prefer it to not look like it's tiling excessively. And so I think this is actually better. Okay, so this would be the model. I thought about putting some more imperfections in it and like more gaps that you could see through, but that's just gonna make it harder to work with for me and have it line up appropriately. And so I think this might be the model to work with. And I would like to make a like a 1x1 version of it for like scaffolding. So maybe let's call this platform. What voice actors do you know again? I mean, I guess like Billy West and Chuck Jones, and I don't know. I don't really follow a lot of voice actors, to be honest. I mean, there's the big ones like Nolan North, I think. Isn't that the guy that does like he's in like every freaking AAA video game as the main character? Okay, so let's make it a 1x1. We'll call this platform. We'll call this wide bridge. Yeah, I mean, Nolan North has been in freaking everything. And for good reason, you know, he's very talented. Troy Baker usually go together. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and clean up the edges in this one. So the objective of this one is gonna be to have like a platform that could stand alone pretty much anywhere, or you could put multiple of them together so that they can form like a larger walking space. Especially in the new mines variants, I've got a lot of wood platform areas that are supposed to look like mining scaffolds, and these are just going to make those look a lot better, I think. So we'll go ahead and copy that to there. Oops. Dang it. I was on the wrong layer and then it just ruined everything. All right. Then we'll take this beam and move that over as well. And how many voxels away from the edges? 1, 2, 3, 4. This looks like 3, so let's do 4. Make sure it's centered. All right, that's 4. So we're going to duplicate that, and then we're going to flip it. All right. So there's still something directional about this. I can't have it be completely direction agnostic, unfortunately. Let's go ahead and take the let's put bolts on both sides. So this needs to be like an east-west facing platform. So that I can, when I rotate it, I know which way I'm rotating it. And then I could create a few more variants where like it's braced to a wall. Let's go ahead and save this. Cockatrice. We're not, this isn't a cockatrice. Barony. Updates. Platform. Okay, this is called platform for now. And then we're going to, I made some more models. Let's go into the mods, content updates, models, decorations. I think, yeah, I made like a wood shelf. That's built using the sign as a basis, which I think is already uglier than this. What else did I have in there? Wood pillars, 2 sacks, keg, pot. Yeah, we got some wood posts. Again, those don't look as good as this, even. So I guess what I'm getting at is like, I could create wall-oriented versions of these that are, I don't know, maybe I can drag this over here and kind of experiment with the idea. But the idea being that they're like mounted to the floor and then braced. And so I would change which mesh I was using based on whether or not it's close to a wall. Have to be kind of careful though. Okay, let's go ahead and copy this, make a new layer, paste. I think to do this justice, I'm afraid the only roles I recognize from Billy West are Red, Eminem, and Murphy from Rayman 3. I mean, Billy West, he's as a game voice actor, I don't really know him very well. But when it comes to like American cartoons, he is like The Simpsons and some others like Doug and yeah, I mean, he's just been around for a long time, and he's done a lot of voices that are quite famous. So I think that I would delete this plank. And then I would move these logs back so that they're up against the previous tile. Something like that. And then I would create like a diagonal joist. Look, I'm not a carpenter. And Barony, what is your opinion? What, in your opinion, is the one that's always chaotic evil? Like the enemy who's chaotic evil? Because I don't think any of the liches are chaotic evil. Maybe an entire enemy race. I guess demons are probably the most obvious example of chaotic evil. Because, you know. And I mean like the big red demons, because they're basically just animal murder, you know, mutilate your corpse because they're angry and don't need any other reason. And that to me is like sort of the pinnacle of chaotic evil. It's just like they don't have a grand agenda. They're there to murder you because murdering people is fun. So yeah, I would say demons. The token good of the liches? That's interesting. So when I think of lawful evil, I don't think of it as being like more good. I think of it as being more they use the system to their advantage. That to me is what sort of the lawful side of lawful evil is. And so, like, I think maybe Herx is a good example of neutral evil because, you know, he does use the system to his advantage, but only because he doesn't have the power to not use that system. And then when he does have the power, then he goes to full on, like, I murder you for fun because I love power, in a sort of in the same way that a chaotic evil would. It's just a set of evil that set of rules that evil users go by. I mean, I don't know. It's I guess this discussion can get really subjective because, like, in a way, even people who just want to murder you to watch you bleed, like, they could have some code that justifies why they do it, but that to me that's not why it's lawful. You know. But maybe that's just my interpretation. So I'm trying to, if it's not obvious, I'm trying to make these logs underneath look shaded so that when you look down into the pit, they get darker and darker. Because if they didn't do that, they would look very bright all the way down. And that doesn't look cool. So I'm hoping by darkening everything, I can make it look, you know, as intended. But it still strikes me as, like, really noisy, and some of the stuff is going to feel really bright in context. And so I think I'd like to, like, get rid of these and then, like, make it actually go into black down here. And lose saturation. Good morning, Pegasus Epsilon. I think along with the stuck demons, succubi and incubi are also always chaotic evil. You just want to violate you and everything they stand for. Yeah, I think that's probably fair. They're not really trying to build anything from their work. They're just sort of seeking purely personal pleasure and with, like, no real need for a pattern. Just they like corrupting things and making them evil, and that's really all they have going on in their hearts. Can I ask if charisma was chosen over CHA to avoid lawsuits? No, I don't think we were really worried about lawsuits. I think honestly it was just, like, I had actually picked CHA because it's sort of more commonly known, but then when Matthew did his pass on the art, he went with CHR, and, like, I didn't really care one way or another, and so we went with CHR. You know, like, I didn't bring it up again. I didn't ask him to change the art, and to me, there's no reason to prefer one over the other, really, so I didn't make a thing out of it. And that, like, as not exciting of an answer as it is, that's the truth. Is like, yeah, well, might as well be CHR instead. I always thought Cha kind of looked kind of silly anyway, but it is sort of the more common standard that I think, because of D&D, people are familiar with. You're triggered? Oh, the description of the Dark Elder from 40K. Yeah, I think that's a good comparison. Also, I'm gonna be okay with any 40K references, probably. Kind of a nerd for 40K. And I don't like the board game. Like, I've tried playing it, and I think it's legitimately not fun. But I love the world that they've put together, and I think it's legitimately good. I'm really excited for Darktide. I'm a huge nerd for Vermintide 2, and so I'm just really hopeful that Darktide's going to be great. I thought that the Space Hulk games have been disappointing by and large, since like the ones from like the best ones in the series are from like the early 90s when it comes to 40K games. Like what's it called? Deathwing? Space Hulk Deathwing. I think that's a decent game. Like, I gave it a positive review on Steam, but it's just nowhere near as good as Vermintide. So I'm excited for Fat Shark to have another shot at this, compared to the other studio who handled it before. I think they will do a great job. Let's push this back one voxel. I only played Dawn of War, Space Marine, and Fire Warrior. Oh, funny. Fire Warrior. Yeah, I saw that game was on sale on GOG recently, and I very nearly picked it up, but then all the reviews are like, by the way, this is just kind of a bad game. Like, don't. And that would disappoint me. I really liked Space Marine. I thought that was an excellent game. I need to chop this back a bit, actually. Let's delete everything from here over. One less voxel. One less voxel than that. Yeah, something like that. Delete. Don't listen to the reviews, it's fine. Okay. I mean, I played a lot of shooter games, so I'm a little bit picky, but if you got a positive feeling about it, then maybe I will play it. It's just I don't own it, and so like I'd have to buy it. And so, like, do I want to bother even spending the money if I don't know if it's going to be... If I'm already doubtful that I'm going to enjoy it, you know what I mean? Just... Okay, so that angle clearly isn't quite enough. I could move the whole thing up by a few voxels. Before I do that, let's take a look at this, move this up a voxel, and then move all of this up to like there. Something like that. How many times have people said you look like Zelensky? Nobody has ever told me I look like Zelensky. Although I do have sort of like a broad skull, and so I can understand the comparison. But that doesn't offend me at all, Zinc. That's very funny. Looks better than Zelensky. Well, that dude was a professional comedy actor for a while, so he's got a, you know, a track record of being put on a screen, whereas that is never. All I've got is this stream, pretty much. That makes you uncomfortable? I mean, I don't know. You like it, Garvikin? I've got doubts, but thank you. You're just gonna say nothing? Okay, that's fine. I think from the angle that most players are gonna see this, I feel like it's okay. I think I need to do some more gradation on the shading though. DM me a review of Fire Warrior. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'll check that out. I'm going to take that as a no word on Twitch chat support. I don't really understand, but I'm also okay with that. I'm okay not understanding. I think that sometimes we're better off not understanding things, certain things. Okay. Let's darken this a bit. I think maybe what I don't like about this is that this top row here feels really weird having an outline on it. I don't think it should have an outline on it like that. In theory, that should be the brightest lit section. And so the fact that it is darker on the edges, I think is what's causing it to feel weird to me. I left the top two darker because they are in deep shadow underneath the boards there. And then maybe as it goes down, I can start darkening it a little. I suggested a while ago that Barony get in-game Twitch chat support. Oh, I see. You know, especially because of people's enjoyment of games like Cult of the Lamb, like I'm sympathetic to integration, other kinds of Twitch integration that we haven't, you know, that we don't have in Barony. But you know, the game's really not built around it. If somebody wanted to like do all the hard work and, you know, make something using our open source code and just come up with their own solution, like I think there'd be no reason for us to not look into it and see, you know, what they accomplished. And like if people play with it because it makes the game more fun, then it, you know, maybe it's the kind of thing that we would consider supporting officially. Right now, I've just in general been very underwhelmed by games that have Twitch chat support. Most of them have been sort of flashes in the pan and then people never play them again. We'll see if that ends up being true for Cult of the Lamb. You know, I don't know. I guess, I mean, that statement alone is pretty heavily loaded, because being a flash in the pan that like literally every streamer plays for a while is a pretty big deal. So it's not something I take for granted either. It's like, there are worse things than being a flash in the pan. Like, oh, say, no one ever knowing what your product is. That's worse than being a flash in the pan. Trying to get the shading right on this. It's just an interesting, like we have like no models in the game that are diagonal like this, so this is a bit of an interesting, unique challenge. Dig up their Discord name. How do you feel about the Tau race? I mean, you know, I think for a long time, and this is probably true of most people's opinion of them, like they're considered like the one good race in Warhammer 40k, but they're only good in the sense like that corrupt government institutions are good. Like, everyone in 40k is sort of fundamentally broken and evil in some way. And like the Marines, for example, are just like extremely totalitarian in a way that we would never consider good in the real world. But in game, it's just like so much better than chaos that it's like sort of like the ends justify the means. And so I think that because of that as the pretext, I think people are a lot more tolerant of the Tau and how they do things, because, you know, compared to the Marines, they seem awfully progressive, you know, the fact that they don't hate other alien races and stuff, but they still are happy to subjugate them and be like, well, we've judged that your race is immensely inferior, and so we're going to make you our grunt class of fighters. And you know, the Kroot are like, okay, yeah, I guess that's fine. In the real world, we would find that completely abominable. Like, we would never tolerate that. Abominable? I don't think that's what I wanted to use. It would be like an atrocity in the real world. And so I don't think the Tau are good. They're just they're just better than the, or it's not even that they're better. It's that they're pragmatic. They're like, yeah, let's make an alliance with these other races because there's no reason not to. Like, there's no reason to hate them arbitrarily. But that said, we're still the ones that get to decide who lives and dies, who has to be on the front line of battle versus who can hang back and do all the planning. And so it's like, the Tau are only as good as sort of the worst governments that have ever existed on planet Earth. You know what I mean? I still love them as a race, though. Like, I really enjoyed playing them in Dark Crusade. I thought they were very fun to play. And so, to that end, I think they're cool. You disagree that they are the most good race? They are the most naive race? Out of the Xenos, you like Orcs and Necrons? Well, I mean, I guess that's the... So that's sort of like... The question is like... There's kind of no good race in 40k. And so people often point to the Tau as the closest that there is. And so my perspective is more about the caveat that it's like, if it was in any other context, no one would ever say they were good. You know what I mean? Did that link get through? Oh, I didn't look at it yet. Oh, hold on. Let me dig up their Discord name. Unpolished, but it works. Okay, let me check it out. Oh, that's really cool. That's really fun. I mean, I really like that there's in-game chat. Although I'm not sure what it would be good for. Like, who would use it, I guess, is the question, and for what purpose. I would use it, I think, in my streams just because I could read chat without having to look away from the game. That would be the number one reason I would use it. So if that's all it is, then I think that's really cool. Okay, I think I've officially improved this plank shading quite a lot through that tweaking. So let's go ahead and duplicate this to the other side. Goodness sakes. The most messed up race is the Dark Elder. It'd be good for not having a tab out or type. Yes. Yeah. Oh, to ban? That's a really good point. Does that mean we can get merged mainline? I mean, listen, I don't touch the code. So you're asking the wrong guy. I guess the one thing that I would worry about merging it mainline from my perspective and like what's relevant to the work I do with Turning Wheel is that once it becomes mainline, it has to be very usable so that any average user could figure out how to use it. And that might mean needing to make another menu or something that exposes the feature, and that itself can be a substantial effort to get something like that going. And so, oh my gosh, the backside of this is way too bright. Okay, I'm actually going to delete this duplication until I fix that. Maybe make it look older. Maybe it's already in, then we just poke the source. Looks new to you. Maybe make it look older. I assume you're talking about the planks. Yeah, one of the, you know, I definitely want the planks to look, you know, relatively old, but when things get older, they tend to have more unique wear and tear on them. And the more unique wear and tear something has, the less easy it is to make it look like it's repeating without the repetition being obvious. And so I'm just, that's something I have to balance as I do this. Okay, we're just gonna paint in this color to start with. I don't understand the thing you're saying, Pegasus. It's okay, I understood everything. Okay, let's go here. Okay, we'll get this and this. It's funny because like most users will never see this backside, but you know, you kind of never know in a 3D game what kind of angle somebody's going to be able to get on something, like when they're levitating, and so I just want to make sure it doesn't look like absolute trash back here. It's important for things to not look like absolute trash. Liches worship the chaos gods. Who would they worship? You know what? Like, that's really hard for me to say. Like, I think before Herx got turned into a lich, he never would have worshipped any chaos god. But now that he is one, like, he might go for, you know, skulls for the skull throne or something, you know, just enjoying the power of being extremely powerful and evil and wanting to just flex that evil on people. I don't know, it's hard to say. I have not seen Better Call Saul. Slanesh, I mean, maybe. I don't know. I don't do that much theory craft, man. This is your wheelhouse. Why don't you tell me what you would think? Okay, let's Lich in general is most likely to attempt to organize his own cult. I think that's a good point. Yeah, I've heard it's good. I really enjoyed Breaking Bad, and so I think I would like Better Call Saul. I kind of avoided it for the first couple seasons because I was like, okay, this is going to be some spin-off. There's no way it's going to be that good. But because it's very well loved, I think it's well proven that I'm wrong about my expectations, which is fine. I mean, that's kind of why I avoid certain things. Is not because I've decided it's bad forever, but because I don't want to get invested until I know it's going to be a good experience, which I suppose maybe, you know, reflects on what I said earlier about not getting into the Fire Warrior video game. It's like kind of why I've avoided it, is because I've got so many games and stuff that I'm trying to play and make time for that I can't afford the time to try all of them and invest a lot into all of them. And that's even more true of TV shows. Like, I literally do not have time to invest into multiple 70-hour TV shows, you know what I mean? In terms of, like, experiencing all their content. And so I love having recommendations that people have, you know, had higher hopes than I did and bit that bullet for me in terms of getting learning how good the quality of the content is. So much better than Breaking Bad. Nothing is resolved, leaves you unsatisfied. That's funny. Yeah. I think one of the... Like, I love that TV has, in the last, 12 years or so, done a good job of evolving to lend itself better to long-form storytelling. I think that's great. It's definitely it's better than movies for that. But I also think that it's sad that other aspects of the TV formula are still around, like sort of TV shows sort of exist to perpetuate themselves, and so like, you know, most stories written purposefully by authors have a planned arc where things, you know, where the story is heading somewhere and it's supposed to end, and the characters grow and learn certain lessons by the end, and TV is just like, well, why would you ever end? Why would you ever have an arc that finishes? And so you end up with a lot of these stories that go on way longer than they should, and I think that's unfortunate. So I think lack of resolution is one of those things that is kind of endemic to the format of TV long-form storytelling, is that like the showrunners are just trying to milk it for, and I don't mean milk in a sort of negative, like judgmental way, but they want to keep their job, and they want everybody to keep all the actors and stuff to keep their jobs so they can keep making money and providing the content that the users want. And so at the end of the day, stories that should end up going on, or like persisting is what I mean. And so then when it's finally time to end the story, the writers have not been leading the story to any particular conclusion. They're just like, well, I guess we're done making this. How do we, you know, end it? Because there was never a point to the story in the first place. It was never intended to end and wrap on, you know, like a meaningful lesson that the characters had learned, or meaningful way that they've grown in, that like sort of says something about humanity or society. Like all of that is not really part of the formula. All right, cheers, Inc. Have a good one. Good having you around as always. Okay, so now we have this sort of wall-mounted scaffold, which I suppose looks like I hoped it would. It's made out of like 4 different kinds of wood, or the wood colors, they kind of range quite a bit, but I think they come together into something that's fairly cohesive. So I think I can be happy with it. Is this meant to be a shelf or a walkable platform? A walkable platform. If it was going to be like a shelf or other thing that would be on the ceiling, I wouldn't have the bottom be so dark. The only reason why the bottom is so dark is because it's going to descend into a black pit, and so it's going to feel really bright unless it's really dark towards the bottom. And unfortunately, that kind of means it's not really usable high up, which is a shame. I wished I could get away with having it be very usable as either. So like I could put this on the ceilings in the mines or something, but yes, hanging over the edge of an abyss. So yeah, it's supposed to feel like a mining platform, like something miners would have built in order to dig more better. I think I'm gonna go through this and do some desaturation. Like, this might be the one part of the thing that literally nobody ever sees, but I'm still gonna mess with it anyway because I'm not happy with it. And unfortunately, I have to select it like this because if I do a square selection, it's going to select the front faces, which are bright on purpose. So let's go ahead and darken these down quite a bit. We'll select these ones. Oh my gosh, that got rid of my selection. Well, that already looks a lot better. Why don't we leave it like that? Because I don't want to fiddle with it that much more. Okay, so this is really cool. You know, now looking at this, let's go ahead and save this. If I just take this and duplicate it this way, it actually becomes a good 2x2 or 1x2 bridge platform as well. So in theory, I could have floating bridges out in the abyss that use this. And that actually looks really cool now I look at it. I really like that a lot. So I can use this other format for drawbridges. Okay, this is the straight one. You can put the noses together to do a 4x1. Yes, yes, I see what you're saying. So this is what I would use for drawbridges, because it's a single directional bridge. And then this is sort of like an all-purpose. It can hang on the edge of anything, and as long as it's facing the right direction, it can look good. And then I'm trying to 1x4. I'm trying to imagine that. Because it's not, I mean, I could make a corner piece. I don't have a corner piece right now, but I could create a corner piece. I think that's actually going to be more effort than it's worth to make a corner piece. Copy and rotate like you did before. Put the noses together instead. Oh, I see what you're saying. So if it's like spanning a too wide gap, then you would have let's something like this. Yeah, then you'd have something like this. Oh my gosh, Voxel Shop, be nice. Be nice. Is that aligned? It is. So like this. Yeah, I mean, this looks just fine too, and it would add some variety to have some bridges like this. Actually, this is good. This is a good 1x2 bridge. Looks almost like a table. Yeah. I mean, what is a bridge if not a table for the ground? Yeah. So yeah, the only thing I don't like about this is that it doesn't is that the beams don't meet up in the middle, because that would create a really nice feeling of support. But even like it is, I think it would be fine to use like this. Yeah. Out of these two, I think I actually like this one better. I mean, I do like both of these, and it makes more sense. But if it's in the middle of the pit, I suppose I would use this one. But if it's not in the middle of a pit, then I guess I would use this one. And I really like this for like a 1x2. So like, or like you could put this platform in the other platform in the middle, like this, to extend the 1x2. You would just rotate it the other way, I guess. Try them side by side. What, you mean like this? Or like this, like elongating this way? This is sort of how I intended them to be put together. So running along the edge of a pit. Yeah. Yeah, this is exactly the case I designed it for, because especially with my new variants, there's a lot more rooms with pits in the middle, and I've edged them with wood floors, and using a wood floor like this would be exactly the intended use case. So the only thing that I need to think about beyond this, and we'll uncover this in some testing as I attempt some implementations, is that I might actually want to make each of these a half tile instead of a full tile long, because the way that the lighting works for 3D models is that the entire model has the same light level no matter what. And so you might notice that, like, in the haunted castle, the ceiling doesn't shade quite as smoothly as the floor does, and that's because the light level on each ceiling tile is only changing once every 32 pixels, or voxels, I should say. And so the same would be true of these floors. Now, if I split this up so that, like, you know, each of these was only half of a tile wide, and so every ground piece would have 2 meshes on it, which would be a lot of meshes, then you know, they would shade every half tile instead of every tile, and that could have some benefits. But I feel like the supports should divide the thing into thirds so that tiles more naturally without some of the supports feeling unnaturally close together. I mean, I would agree with you, except for you're almost never ever going to see that. And so it's more important to me that, oops, I need to take away this duplication. There we go. So like, it's more important to me that the end of it looks clean. I mean, I could put like another post in the middle, but you're almost never going to see that down there. So I think this is, like, I see what you're saying, but I don't think it's gonna, in the end, I don't think it's gonna matter. Like, if I put a third post in the middle, it would just be a post you'd never see, and it would be taking up, you know, processing power. It's just existing. Yeah, third post would be really crowded. I need to real quick make a decision about this platform. And that is, right now, the support beams are going perpendicular, which I think is exactly what you would do in real life. So maybe there's no question to be had here. But I'm just kind of feeling like it might be easier to integrate. Yeah, actually, no, this works. This works. I mean, yeah. It seems to me like you would want the... Hold on, let me try to get a clean selection here. Seems like you would want it to go like this, which doesn't look clean, unfortunately. When in doubt, Google real life examples. Yeah, it's just that, like, a bridge is in real life kind of fundamentally different than a scaffolding. So like this scaffold right here, I think is doing exactly what a real life scaffold would do, is because the only support is on the edge of this wall here, and you want your beams to be going perpendicular with your floor so that your floor gets the most amount of support. But the second you do it as a bridge, you want the support going down the length of the bridge. And so then you would actually want this turned sideways. And so in a way, it's almost like I need a different bridge support idea. I don't know, which is what this is, basically. 2x1 is a bridge. And then maybe for small bridges, this platform would stand alone and it would never connect to the sides. Because, I mean, I just don't know if it would be easy for me to make another, like, duplication of this that, where the struts go the other direction. I don't know. Let's label these. Yeah, I mean that's oh, that's funny. The platform is actually turned the other direction on this one. But yeah, those are steel supports. Yeah. So the planks are perpendicular to the supports, but there isn't a cross beam like I have. What I was gonna propose actually is, I need to name this. So this would be call this scaffold pillars. And this is just a dupe, and this is just a dupe, so we can actually delete these. And this is a standalone platform, and this is half bridge. Actually, this is just a dupe as well. Okay, this is the half bridge mesh. So the useful duplicate that I'm trying to talk about here would be, where are you at? Where are you at? Where are you at? Like this, but let's go ahead and copy this. We're gonna copy, and then we're gonna hide this stuff, and then paste, and we're gonna name this. I don't know. We'll call it narrow bridge. And I would turn this into one pillar instead of two, and then I would flip the direction of this beam. Is what I would do. This is taking longer to try to delete this stuff in a group, so I'll just do it manually. Okay, and then I'm actually going to just take the front half of this pillar, or not this pillar, but this beam. That's what I'm going to keep. Oh, I lost some. And it wouldn't let me keep any of that selection. Thanks for nothing. Selecting voxels in perspective, and other painful things you can do to yourself. Okay, that looks good. So we'll move this away, move it. I'm going to delete the rest. I know, we're getting to it. We're getting to it. I have a plan. All of this is going to move to the center. It's as good as we're going to get on centering it. So Sorry, I haven't been watching chat. Things being randomly decomposed with missing voxels, yeah. It actually might still be better. I don't know. I'm hemming and hawing over here. Okay, what I was gonna go for is like sticking this up right here. Like that. If I do that, rotate the planks on top. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, the real question is if any of this is ever going to be worth it in game. And by that, I really mean just, like, I have to remember every time I place one of these to rotate it the right direction and make sure that it makes sense. Yeah, I mean, this looks right to me as well. And then I would use this platform rotated widthwise to make that bridge longer. Is it worth my own memory, right? Yeah, my own patience, diligence, and just, yeah. Even if nobody sees it, I'll know I did it right. Yeah, fair enough. I'm gonna move this to the side here so that I can easily see what it would look like next to the wide scaffolding platform. Okay, and I would actually what I need to do is move this and then rotate it. Okay. So this is effectively what this would look like if I just wanted to keep this center platform as generic as possible. Obviously, this doesn't look great with the center going into 2 there. And the player probably wouldn't see that, but they may very well see something like this, which might look silly. So what might be the right choice would be to make this like a V shape, which is going to be a lot more work. Or I could just duplicate this. That's probably what I should do, huh? That's why you suggested quarters, yeah. Well, listen. I'm trying to have as few pieces as possible. Because it's just gonna... Every additional piece just is more headache for me when it's time to build them in a level. So... This is where I wanted to back out to. We'll get rid of that beam. you want to reduce polygons, just change the two supports to one middle piece. Let people fear crossing bridges. I mean, I want that side piece. Like, part of the reason to do this is to give some depth to the visuals there, and if you don't see that under beam, I think we're missing an opportunity to do that. So, I mean, it's a fair proposal, but I think that I should stick with this. I'm going to... Honestly, this doesn't look the worst. All right. We need that. Okay. Let's just do this. Let's just go ahead and make this one 2 parts as well. Like so. So that way it'll line up with the other one. And it won't be a big old struggle, which is what I'm really just trying to avoid, a big old struggle here. Okay, then we're gonna have this platform. Let's go ahead and rotate this bad boy 90 degrees. Move it back a here. And then the platform will line up if we just reuse these beams. And also we need to rotate the top again. Let's not forget to do that. Actually, it strikes me we could just delete this entire top and replace it with the currently existing platform. The only difference is that this one has supports. So boom, and then platform, we just dupe it. We just dupe it. Like so. We have a problem. I need to drop about, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 voxels. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wow, so basically all of this. Maybe what we should do is lower the supports. Nah, I'm abandoning that thought. I'll just erase them. one more row of voxels to eliminate. Wish I could get a little bit more fine-tuned control with my rotation angle. That's okay. Seems like a very thick beam, but let's see how it looks with this duplicated. I'm actually going to dupe this up here so I don't overwrite any voxels at first. And then I'm going to rotate it 180 degrees so that it, yeah, so that it starts. No, never mind. This is good. Correct. Nope, this needs to be lined up. There we go. And then we move it. Shebang. Okay. So now we have a narrow bridge that lines up perfectly. This is what we were working for. Thanks for your patience. Just took a little experimentation to get it right. There's a little bit more contrast between the supports there. I mean, like I said before, it looks really thick. I'm not sure how I feel about how that looks. Maybe I can sort of darken this space here. Something like this. Copy this and then delete it. What did deleting it get me? Why did that? Oh, I see what happened. Okay. So we're going to paste it and we're going to darken it. Nah, that's not good. Yeah, I don't like how it looks. We'll blend it in a second here. Obviously that color changes too much, but I'm just trying to like experiment with something that feels like it integrates a little better. Because these colors of wood are so dramatically different. trying to like find some compromise. Yeah, that's just not cutting it because the saturation is so different between them. It feels really out of place. You know, it could be worse, but I don't think I'm sold. It doesn't look like shadow. It looks like the wood has warped and changed color in an unnatural way, which is not the intent. To saturate the rest. Well, I could, but then it wouldn't blend with this, which I need it to. And I'm happy with how this looks. Like, I'm okay with this beam looking like it's more protected and like in better shape than the stuff on top, because that has been protecting it from weather. I just need to find a better solution for like this stuff. So like I could do something like this. And then do something like this. I appreciate your suggestions, by the way, Pegasus. I don't know. That's not bad. It's not perfect, but it's also not bad. I'm being pretty picky, if I'm honest. I mean, it's my fault for deliberately using 2 colors of wood for this. That's how you make good art. You know, I'm kind of satisfied with this. Like, you can tell that there's some hue shifts going on, or hue changes, not hue shifts. And like, it's kind of hard to tell whether it's shadow or whatever, but it is successfully blending the multiple wood colors together, and so I'm left not despising it. And the whole goal was just sort of to blend this sort of desaturated wood color in with this not desaturated wood color, and have it look okay with the posts. So, you know, I think the most productive thing for me to do is probably just try it in game. I haven't tried any of this in game yet, and so it's like it's all just sort of, we're kind of crossing our fingers on all of it. I think I may try to copy. This is funny. You can see where the wood has totally replaced the posts. That's okay. I don't mind if anybody sees that. It's unlikely anybody will ever see it anyway. But it's something you could do in carpentry, so it's like, whatever. so let's just duplicate this. Let's flip it. Not that way. This way. And then... yeah. Can we replace this stuff easily? Will it just let us do that? Did it not flip? I think it didn't flip. Oh, this isn't... I didn't place this properly to begin with. It's actually the post that is misplaced. It is the post that is misplaced. Oh, that's a headache. But actually, the easiest way to deal with this is just flip and replace the whole post, and that is fine. That is gonna be easy to do. So let's do that. Just get rid of this whole thing. Boom. We'll bring this platform out here for reference. We'll duplicate this, we'll flip it, and we'll bring this bad boy back over, and we'll line it up with the plank, and that will be all we need to do to get this lining up perfectly. One more voxel to the right. Donk. And that should be technically correct, the very best kind of correct. One more thing I could do here, I should have thought of this earlier, is that I could make like a metal bracket right here that covers the transition between the log and the edge here. So like something like this. And that would actually make things feel pretty cohesive. Let's just try making that, see how it feels. Something like that. I actually think that's a rather elegant solution to some of the problems we've been having with this bridge. So let's bring back our narrow bridge and put this guy where he belongs, right there. And dupe. Boom. Alright, I think that on the whole just looks quite well integrated. And can make nice narrow bridges. So I came in here with the intention of making maybe one tile that when I rotated it around, it would make a good 2 wide bridge. But knowing that I wanted to make 1 wide bridges, it kind of spiraled into this other thing. And then also wanting to be able to make bridges that didn't have to attach to a wall. And so now we have all those solutions, which is great. So I'm gonna cut these out, boom. Put them on the narrow bridge piece like there, boom. Get rid of this empty layer. We have narrow bridge edge. We have the scaffold with scaffold pillars. So why don't we combine these all into one? Boom. Right here. And these would be for walkways that run parallel to pits. We can get rid of this. That's just the negative of what wasn't used. Scaffold, narrow bridge. This is walkways running perpendicular to pits. And then we have platforms, which are wood sections that are out floating in the middle of nowhere, attached to the sides of whatever else. And then we have the wide bridge with the iron banding on it. That when flipped around is the right direction. Okay, these are facing east, that's facing east. Okay, everything is facing east, which is the objective. Actually, this is not facing east. This is facing west, I believe. And so we want to make sure they're all facing the same way so that when we rotate them, we don't get confused. So we're gonna take this. Actually, how's the narrow bridge? Narrow bridge is facing south. Okay, hold on. Let's save it. Let's deal with exporting shenanigans in a minute. Just want to give a big shout out to everyone who's here hanging out in Discord, lurking or chatting. As we put together some fun bridge stuff for Barony. It's going to make it look a lot cooler, and I really appreciate you being around for the process. Really quite rad of you. So I'm going to take a quick bio break, and I'll be back in a minute. Thank you again for chilling. All right, folks, I'm back. Thank you for your patience. Last thing we were doing here is I wanted to make sure that all of the bridges were facing the same direction so that when I rotated them or placed them in the world, I would know what direction is normal for them to face so that I can have confidence in rotating them after that. I know it might sound like not that big of a deal, but or like, you know, whatever, but in order to test how these things look, you actually need to load them up in the game, and sometimes that means having them procedurally generate that way, and it can be very difficult to test. And so if I just standardize how they're exported, then that allows me to have a very reliable oh, this looks cool. I didn't realize that I made these connect in this way. That's not bad. I mean, it doesn't look perfect here, but it would look good for going around a corner, actually. It's pretty cool. Kind of makes me want to make a platform that is facing halfway one way and half the other, which is just I'm gonna do it. I'm going to. Okay, so we're going to call this corner platform. And what it's going to be is this one, but half of it is going to be turned one way and half of it the other. Copy, paste, and it's going to be hard to get a good selection out of this. Maybe I just delete one of these. That'll simplify things. Because what this really needs to be is like, it needs to go half the distance and then turn effectively. And so why don't we delete some of the middle here. And I'm deleting this section because it has no like detail on it. So nobody will miss it if it's gone. Boom. Take all this and move it over. Actually, before we do that duplicating, let's get the top right. So what I would like to do is I'd like this to kind of be diagonals, like cut at a 45-degree angle. So effectively something like this. That's a bit haphazard, but that is the idea that I'm trying to get across here. Let me try that again. If I can get a perfect like 45-degree selection, then I probably won't do anything fancier than that. So like that is effectively what I'm going for. We'll delete it, or we'll move it. Let's move it, and then we need to rotate it 90 degrees. Flip it. Not that way. How about this way? Yes, like this. Okay, perfecto. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so this needs to be an interior piece. Well, I'm going to fix up some of the painting here. This is obviously not, like, this is not how you would build this in real life. So we're just going to, let's fix up some of the painting real quick because we can. So, I mean, there's two ways I could do this. I could make it so that, you know, some of the beams go straight and like cut off here, and then this one cuts off here. Or I could have them diagonal like the shops are. The shop ground is. And I'm honestly not sure what is better. What do you mean? You wouldn't cut your lumber into L shapes? I guess, you know, call me crazy. Yeah, I suppose I would not cut my lumber into L shapes. I think I'm going to go for more of the rustic construction because these are supposed to mostly be scaffolding. And do, you know, one long plank, one short plank. And we'll just alternate it enough so that it looks very deliberately like a... like a junction. So like this one on the end here will then be cut off here. And while we're at it, we'll add another bolt to the corner here. Boom. Yeah, something like that. I mean, it's not done yet, but it's proving the idea already, I think. And this last one, I just have to make a choice. I think I'll make this another one where the I think this makes more sense. I really should have gotten one of these in the game before I kept making more, because I could dislike how the color looks or something, and then just need to come change all of them. We'll just have to hope that's not the case because I don't have a backup plan. I'm gonna have to get rid of some of this shading now that it's no longer representative of what was going on in the model before. Boom. Or what's going on in the model now, I should say. This is the outer edge. I'll go ahead and get rid of this voxel here. Sometimes I click buttons and the things that I want to happen don't happen because I clicked it wrong. They call me the wrong clicker. In hushed tones, they speak my name. They call me the wrong clicker. Okay, I'm really happy to have this corner segment. I think it'll help the scaffolds and bridges in the game feel a lot more cohesive, to make some sense. I need to change the placement of the bottom beam here. Let's move this platform so that it can align with the other one, and I can like make a coherent arrangement. So let's have it on the end of this. Like that. Okay, and it's curving to the left. And so what we would do is we would have this bad boy. Let's go ahead and save it. We've done a lot of good work. Let's move this over here. Goodness gracious. I double clicked and it caused absolute chaos. Okay. So we're gonna move this here and then we're gonna flip it. And then what I need is something that'll basically connect Actually, we don't need to connect to the interior one. We just need to make something that's going to connect to the opposite side. So, like, let's just make a dupe first so that it's easy to grab. And let's actually dupe this platform so that we can create the other side so that we're working with evidence instead of guesses. Let's be really picky about what angles it's letting me pick right now. Which is not my favorite. There we go. Now that I have something selected, it's not being so picky. This is a throwaway layer. 90 degrees. And we're just going to match it up here so that way we get a sense of where the beams should be, the support beams. Okay. I think both of my platforms are facing, or no, my corner piece is facing the wrong way. My corner piece is facing the wrong way. It needs to be like 180 degree different. So okay. Yes, that's exactly what it needed. Okay. So we're gonna grab this. Unfortunately, that means that our I mean, that's okay. I was gonna say it means that our low edge. I feel like the very outside corner should overlap the other way. Oh yeah, you might be calling out exactly what I'm doing right now. If I'm not mistaken. What happens when I rotate this 90? I mean, this would work. No, this would not work. I think this has to be it. I mean, we could do 90 and then do a flip. That would work. I think this is probably what we should do. And we'll move the bottom beam as needed. Yeah, running boards the short way. Yeah. Yeah, I think you got it. So we're gonna line up this beam with this exterior one, because that's one that's gonna be exposed to the world, whereas the interior one will never be exposed to the world. That needs to go all the way up the edge. That looks correctly lined up in my humble opinion. And then we will flip it so that it's facing the bright side out. Perfect. And then this one, we need to flip it bright side out as well. And then it needs to meet this one on the outside. I mean, is that what we needed to do? Or do we need to do the interiors? I don't know. I'm questioning everything. Who am I and why? Actually, I think this is. I think this looks like basically how people would build it. Like having those terminate is a little weird. I don't know. I'm not going to worry about the bottom. You'll literally never be able to see that. Well, I guess maybe if you're doing like spectator cam or something. I mean, I could just fill this empty space in. That might be all it needs. Open GIMP and do quick 30 pixel, show you what you mean. I mean, let's... Like, what happens when we spin this around 180 degrees? So these are the... No, that's wrong. No, that's wrong too. I believe this is also wrong. Okay, this is the one we've been doing. There's like another diagonal that can work, but I'm having a hard time nailing it down. I think it's this one. Yeah, this is the other diagonal that, no, that's the same as before. This, what I have now? And this is back to the sort of original. Okay. I think this is what I was working on. And so I think the only thing that I've kind of proposed is that I could fill in this diagonal gap here, or I could leave it disjointed like it is now. The board's inside the corner piece itself. Oh. Are you in the Discord? Yeah. Yes, I'm in the Discord. What's my name? Mr. Sneak with an exclamation point on the front. Yeah. So one thing's for sure is I need... Like, this could work. I mean, this is the same thing I've been doing. Why am I having such a hard time with this? That will not work. This will not work. That will not work. That will work. And every time I say that will work, it's always this angle that I'm landing on, you know? No, I need to dig up the Barony Discord. It's alright. I mean, you can link something in the chat here if you want. The other thing I'm kind of tempted to do is just angle these boards in slightly so that they cover the gap themselves. Friend request sent. Okay. Dumping it into DM is the way. All right, if you say so. Yes, that is the way I have the corner. Oh, a proper herringbone? Oh, I see what you're saying. So that it's, like, consistent. Yeah. I do appreciate the distinction. And I guess, yeah, I think I can get that. I mean, I'm okay if it looks a little rough-hewn, like if they weren't exactly planning it and they just worked with the boards they had. I just want to make sure that the boards line up the right direction. It's kind of my primary concern. It's a dungeon, yeah. No, I appreciate that. I think the one thing I don't like, though, is that, like, having this piece on the end definitely doesn't make any sense. That should definitely be a corner piece, or an inside corner piece, and right now it's set up to be an outside corner piece, and I don't like that. So just because it's not nailed to anything, it's just hanging off the edge. So I mean, like, I guess in theory I could move this over here like that, and if I could stinking move the camera, and this over here like this. But actually, I already know that that's not correct, because we're going... We have the wrong perpendicular angle. I feel like this isn't big brain problem, but I'm having a hard time with it anyway. Oh, actually, yeah, no. Yeah, this isn't. I feel like if there should be a way that I can just rotate my model and it should work, but I can't figure it out. I want the long boards coming towards the corner, which would be just flipping this 180 degrees, right? But now it's not lining up. Do I have to flip it? Oh, this worked. This worked. No, it didn't work. It did not work. Like, it worked from this direction, but not this direction. How did I screw this up so bad? A thing in real wood carpentry, yeah. I mean, I've laid my own floor at home before, so I have done that kind of stupid thing in my own house. It's just, it would never be on the outside. There would never be a good reason to do that. Sort of what I'm sensitive to. This is what I want, except for, yeah, they're facing the wrong way. Play some Barony to let the problem percolate. I appreciate your pragmatism. It's so silly to me that I can't get this to, like... If you do the boards along the way the corner is... I think you're right. I guess what's vexing me is I don't... I feel like 100% of this should be solvable just by rotating it. Apparently, I'm completely wrong about that. Rotate corner 180 and all walkways 90. Well, yeah, but rotating the walkways is not an option. That's the way that they have to face. And so that's what I'm struggling with. I mean, I probably, if I had just started over by now, I probably would have fixed it already. But I'm like trying to make this work. Well, yeah, the walkways would be facing, like the supports would be out here. Like, you won't have a bridge over a void with a corner in it. That's going to be against a wall, right? No, the corner might be over a void. That's actually the scenario I'm trying to make the primary intent of this. Yes. Yeah, it would be an outside corner. Because inside corner is not going to matter nearly as much. Like, you're just going to see the top of it. Both sides are what? Yeah, effectively both sides, because you're never going to see underneath an inside corner. right? So imagine the support beams on the walk is actually getting shoved into the wall. Yeah, I hear you. I'm not worried about the support beams so much because I can rotate those independently. It's these ones that I'm just like amazed that I can't make right. Like I do 90 degrees and then I can do a flipsy. And then it's always putting this little one on the outside, unfortunately, because of how I've set this up. I just thought that with the magic of rotating things I would be fine, and I'm not. But the beams need to be perpendicular to, exactly, yes. Well, yeah, and that's fine. I can deal with that after I've solved the problem of which direction the top boards are facing. Yeah, I'm still, look, I'm still worried exclusively about which direction the top boards are facing. Because the other problem is independent and easy to correct after the fact. No, it'll, like I said, this is going to be an outside corner. Yeah, something like this is what I want. It's just, it's not aligning perfectly with the boards that are there. But, you know, like, this looks good enough that I don't know. Again, I'm really not worried about the supports underneath because it's just the tops that are creating this strange situation with the where the corners end up. I think of the compromises, this is the one I'm happiest with because it puts the long beams out to the edge, which is what I think matters. No, trust me when I say I'm not worried about the supports because I can rotate that rather freely, and you're barely going to see them, so they don't have to be complicated. It's just the top that I'm worried about. And the only thing that sucks about this top is that it's not going... I'm just gonna correct it like this. Then rotate the pieces connected to the corner 90 degrees. No. No, because they have to be... The direction of all the bridges we've worked on so far have the supports going this way. So that's why these have to be facing this direction. I'm just worried about this one piece. I'm not looking to change the whole thing. Alright, I think I'm gonna leave it like this. I've looked at enough of the compromises going the other direction that I just think that the only other solution is to change the direction that the other boards are facing on the other bridge pieces, and because the crux of the problem is that as we go diagonal out from the center, that means there's going to be shorter pieces towards the edge, and there's just no getting around that unless I change the direction of the boards. And I would rather... Yeah, I thought about deleting that corner piece. I almost did it just now. I don't know. Let's just take a look at how it looks. I don't know. Actually, the reason why I didn't want to is because if I can reuse this piece as an outside, an inside corner, if this piece is still intact, and I think I want to just allow myself to have that option. And again, like, this is like the worst case scenario that the player's gonna see it in, really. Like, if you're really far away, you might see this, but you can't even really tell, like, the angle of that. It doesn't necessarily look like it's completely unsupported out there. It might be a little sketchy, but, like, I think it's the kind of thing that the smooth transition is really all I was trying to get with this, and this gives me that, so I'm satisfied with it. Considering what the other compromises are. I mean, yeah, if I had the boards going the other way, it would be a different story, but I'm not going to do that, so kind of moot. Okay, so now we got to worry about the directionality of the assets relative to one another. I'm going to move this aside because the game doesn't care where they are when you export. Real quick, I'm going to import a table. Furniture? Oh yeah, I need to do this. Models, decorations, table. And I'm gonna match the table direction. Okay, the table is east-west like this. We're gonna make this corner platform. It's already facing east-west, but we're gonna make it so that it's facing, so that the beams are east-west as well. Like that. Nope, that's not right. I think this is the east-west we're looking for. Yes. Because I want it to align with floors. That are facing east-west like this. Yeah, this is imposing that it's an outside. Well, this is acting like an inside corner, actually. So I feel so silly for fiddling with this floor again. Let's rotate 90 degrees. Not that way. Yeah, I mean, I think this is the only... Yeah, this is an inside corner. Alright, well, it's acting like an inside corner to preserve the facing direction. So we'll just have to be careful with how we place this. The scaffolding needs to be rotated. Oh no, this is... Forgive me, I'm just trying to think of how I'm planning on using this in the game. So this one actually needs to be rotated, now that I think about it. So this is... I need to turn this 90 degrees this way. So that if I want a path that's moving north-south, if I want a path that's moving east-west, then I need to place it like this. And if this one, if the path is moving east-west, I also place it like this. This is a bridge facing north-south. Actually. If I want a bridge that's facing east-west, it's going to be like this. Yeah, these would never appear like that together. And this is traveling north-south, so we need to rotate that. Boom. So now it's moving east-west. And this one should be rotated so that it's traveling east-west. Okay, so now everything is traveling east-west is the objective. If everything is reliably traveling east-west, then I can reliably rotate it in-game and understand what that means. Yes, this is traveling east-west. This is yep, this is for a bridge that's moving east-west using platforms like this, which are traveling east-west. And this is not really... Okay, I want to change this so that it's if I'm moving east-west on a bridge, then this is aligned to do that. So I think I need to do it like this. So I'm traveling east. Oh, nope. I'm traveling east-west, and then no, I'm traveling north-south. Traveling east-west, and then the bridge turns south. That's what this is. So this is the east-west orientation for the corner. Okay, bit of a mind game for me to figure all that out, but I think we have consistent export directions, and then we'll call this. We can call this corner scaffold. Platform is agnostic. And this is wide bridge. Okay. Goodness gracious. Okay. Let's put this in models, decorations. We're going to call this bridge wide. Bridge platform. We're gonna call them all bridge so they organize together. Bridge scaffold. Corner. And then narrow bridge. Okay. All right, we got all those exported. All right. That was a bit of a tedious grind, so thanks for hanging with me. And I know that it was a little bit confusing. It took me some time to come to terms with some of the challenges that I was going to be dealing with. So thank you for hanging with me through that. Now what we need to do is go into the Barony models file. Come on, you can do it. Edit. Okay, so this is what the models file looks like. Get rid of all these. No. Okay, and then on the end of this, we're going to add some more models. First, I'm going to copy them from my mods folder to my models folder. I do like to store everything in a mod so that if I ever need to, like if something ever gets overwritten, I always have like one file that has all of my content in it that I've worked on for this update. So now we have our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 models that we've made. That's more than I expected to make. Models, oops, yeah, models, decorations. Just paste them here. Do we just get 4 players? Okay, hold on. Wouldn't be a... Okay, where are the other 12 player spawn locations? Do we just get 4 players spawning in each spawn? We don't... like, we don't have any intention right now to officially support 16 player mode or 12 player mode. That's been sort of something that that was just sort of an experiment, just like the smallest amount of possible work, to just like remove the limit. And just let players deal with it, with the fallout of doing that. It's a good experiment, yeah. But like none of the rest of the game is built or balanced for that, and so like it would be a huge distraction from the other important work we have to do on Barony to try to support a 16-player mode. Bridge narrow. Scaffold corner. Wide. The only real problem I found in the code is that max players or whatever reuse various places in the code where it should literally just be 4. Straight up literal. Yeah, I mean, but if you just think about some of the basic problems, like we have the new lobby where 4 players join the game and they can all select their class at the same time and see what classes everyone else is picking. Like, there are ways that we could solve that, but we would have to solve them. We would have to solve it if we officially supported the 16-player mode. Like our whole new lobby experience is built around there being 4 players, and so just like exactly, yeah. Which the menu is not architected at all to handle that right now. So it was built explicitly around there being 4 players in there. So or the potential for 4 players. And like in UI, when you design a menu that has some items in it, there's a very big difference between designing a menu that's intended to be able to hold effectively infinite items versus one that is supposed to hold a small number of items. It's because if you can design the experience just for one format, which is what we've done, you can really focus all of the elements in that menu to support that one format to be a great experience for that. But then once you have to start making a bunch of compromises for like, well, how many files are going to be here, or how many characters are going to be here, the last. Yeah, the new party list is totally different, so I doubt it's gonna have the exact same problem. Okay. Okay, so let's go back. Okay. So, we're gonna go in here. Excuse me. Goodness gracious. I was hoping to get to some other stuff today, but I haven't yet. I think I'll do this, and then do what? This. Actually, let's just do this. Let's have it terminate like that. And then we're going to do walkways here. Boom, 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 boom. And then we're going to do a decor sprite, which is going to use mesh number 1184, and that is 1184, not 1185, because the game starts from 0 and Notepad++ starts from 1. And so I have to reduce 1 from the counting here. And then it's going to face direction south. And this one's going to face direction north. And hopefully I got that right. Save. And I'm going to go load models. Okay, and then we're going to restart the level. So
another one joins the fray.
Okay, we managed to get rid of the floor here, but the models didn't show up.
Another one joins the fray.
I might need to restart the game. How about dump cache, load models. I mean, if the models aren't showing up at all, I believe. So, I mean, obviously the walk tiles work, so that's fun. But we want to see those bridge meshes. So this is Barony models. .txt. We did 1184, which should be correct. So I'm going to go ahead and close Barony out. Because it may have not reloaded the models list or something like that. So let's back out. Just make sure bridge, yep, all the bridge models are there. Surprised Justice isn't here watching and taking notes. You know, he showed up to a lot of my streams in the first month and a half or so of streaming. But he may have found that he's just not quite as productive when he's listening to me work. It may be that I'm just very engaging to watch. Well, Reload Models does reload models. It's just maybe in a different way than you would think.
Another mortal landmines on the set.
So it's loading something, but it's not loading my model properly. You think it might be broken? Thank you. What might be causing this? Because if it's just a mesh just like this one. Let me see. I mean, this is what I exported, right? I can just try to re-export this. Models, decorations, select. And it's bridge wide that we're replacing. It's just... What's a little concerning to me is this is obviously not... The model isn't even in the... Like, it's not that it's lit improperly, it's just literally not the same model. It's like the same dimensions, but not the same model. So, like... If I did, like, a no-clip, and then went down under here... Yeah, it's just like a rectangle the whole way around. So something's wrong with this mesh. 1184 is what I'm loading. I mean, I want to offset this by like -8. Let's see where that gets us. Okay, it did get offset.
Another mortal landmine set.
I wonder why it's not exporting properly. I would like to try doing another export. Like, maybe I can cut these out, put them all on this layer, export. Model decorations, did I set that up correctly? Models decorations. Looks correct to me. And then in models decorations, we have bridge wide dot fox. Yes, that's all correct. There's no change. There shouldn't have been a change, but we were trying stuff. Let's try, let's just see if it'll load the generic platform and just replace that. We should see the dimensions change at least, probably. No? Okay, let's try a more extremely different mesh, like this one. Okay, the bounds did change. So something about the mesh. It's causing the bounds of the mesh to render, but not the mesh itself. I wonder what that's all about. Let's go ahead and re-export this, because that's what we really want. And then I may go into Magic of Voxel to see if I can get... If I export from there, will it change? Reload length, okay. Okay, well... I think something just got dropped down my stairs. Alright, we're going to open Magic of Voxel and see if we get any different results exporting from there. I really only use this tool for exports, which is fine. So let's go to Models, Decorations, Bridge Wide, Open. It didn't load. Bridge Wide, Open. It's not working. I mean, this is a scarab wing, and that works. Models, decorations, bridge, wide, open. Nothing. Interesting. Creatures, models, decorations. Bridge scaffold doesn't load. Makes me wonder if something's wrong with Voxel Shop. Copy another tiles Vox. Yeah, I think I understand what you're saying. So, like, I replace it with some other mesh. Like this table, for instance. So it's not a problem in the list. It's not a problem in Voxel Shop. It's like it's a problem specifically in my bridge model. And I wonder why that is. My bridge model is bad somehow. Something is wrong with my bridge model. What could it be? I mean, this is wrong. This shouldn't look like that. Let's fix that. What did I do wrong? Maybe I have two voxels in the same space. Well, actually, when I did this, boom, and then pasted it, Voxel Shop would have gotten rid of any redundant voxels. Resave in Voxel Shop. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I could go new, open, platforms, open. Okay, it's opening just fine. Export, export. Okay. Load models. It's really odd that even Magica Voxel can't open this, though. That's the real weird one to me. Like, there's no reason why Magica Voxel shouldn't be able to open these. Unless Voxel Shop is doing something crazy. I've never had this problem with any model. So I'm going to go ahead and close Voxel Shop. Reopen it. We've been struggling on today's stream. Struggling. All right, let's open the bridge. All right, seems to be intact. It's funny, I see some seams. You tried to clean up the voxel header? Okay, I just pasted these voxels into a brand new file. So there should be nothing hidden. One of the things I could do is, what? Fill the interior. So, like... It's possible that I have too many colors in here. That could be the case. Although that would be odd. I filled the interior. Only succeeded in making it break. It changed colors? Why? Why? Why are you doing this to me? Are those Man, if that's a different color all the way through, it could just be that I have too many voxels. Like, this is a pretty big mesh to begin with, but if the edges of these are all... Well, let's just pick black and then go fill interior. And I cut open the inside, and nope. It could literally be that there's too many voxels. Because they're all unique colors in there, which is not okay. So just the way that I generated this model may be flawed. So I'm going to take off this cap. I'm going to try to delete the interior. Oh my gosh, this is a ridiculous attempt at fixing this. Okay, I'm going to be grinding at this for a minute. I'm going to put on some music. Okay, I'm gonna try to put the cat back and see if this one hollowed out one works. Okay, it did work. And I can just choose a color that might be a little bit less disruptive than black. But yeah. I mean, I can't really test if this is the right fix without just going through the process, so I'm gonna do it. I have erase interior as an option.
Another one.
So I would be, concerned about, the fact that, this is a really big model or whatever. Except for the fact that I've made, like, the stalagmite models are huge in the caves. And so I think that they're more voxels than this is. Probably easily more voxels. And so for this one to be causing the disruption, I think is silly. So if I move this over here, you'll see that all the interior has successfully been replaced with black. I export it as bridge wide, replace it, yes. See, at least this shows something. Magic Voxel just drops out with no error. Decorations, bridge wide, open. And it's just like, nah, that's not for me. Not really into loading models, you know what I mean? Magic Voxel's so silly. Alright. I mean, one other thing, I can just try making it small. I actually already did that, Pegasus. I already did that. If I just make this small, this is a new file. You see how I don't have any of my layers here anymore? That's because this is a new file. So if I just, what, delete half of the bridge, boom, will this export? If this by itself exports, then we know it has something to do with like voxel count. Or I guess we won't know that it has something to do with voxel count, but it could very likely be related to voxel count. Okay, cancel, cancel, export, export. We'll open it up in Voxel Shop as well. Okay, that looks like it probably worked. Decorations. Bridge wide open. No, and it won't open in here. Huh. Huh. What is so fancy about my bridge model that even when I make it small, it's just... Ugh, this is sort of crazy. I'm not really thrilled about this at all. What am I doing? What am I doing? Can we just like make it all green? Boom, we'll just make it all, let's make it all this color. So it's fewer polygons. Will that help? Concave hull problem? I understand what you're saying. I mean, we have plenty of concave models in the game, but I understand that thing can be a problem in software often. Okay, now this one loaded. So it could be a color count issue. It could be a color count issue. Okay, it looks like it's a color count issue. If there's more than 256 colors on this bridge, that could be the problem. And it's surprising, but it's possible. Okay, it looks like I have some work to do to clean up the color usage. And I knew I've been a little bit sloppy with my color usage because I was working quickly from like a texture, a Vox palette smasher. I mean, that would be handy in this case. We unfortunately don't have anything like that. No. Platforms open. And then there is like a palette, color palette. Where is our color palette? Here it is. So import palette, no. Extract colors from selection. Oh my gosh. We have way too many. Resell colors. Yeah, so a part of the problem here is I was using an image as the base for my model. And so we have way too many colors. And they're not useful either. I need to be able to... What if we exported the palette? Convert the image to a GIF next time, yeah. So I was able to export the palette as a PNG, and I may be able to crush the palette in Affinity and then import it. Here's hoping. Well, that's a shame. I feel kind of silly that this is the problem. But yeah, this is way too many colors. And I wish there was a way in Magic of Voxel to deal with this. You can replace colors by first unlocking the palette and using... Yeah, this would take way too long to modify the palette manually in here. Alright, affinity. Real quick, open up this palette file. Oh my gosh, it's so huge. It's so ridiculous. Okay, so it may be that the fastest way to do this would be to export it as a GIF. Or there's export for... No, now I'm thinking about what's LUT? What does this mean? I don't even know what this is. We'll not worry about that. You can do that if you want to. I'm not sure. I feel like I should be able to do this here, and I'm gonna need a process that doesn't depend on, you know, an external source, right? So. 8-bit. Oh, here we go. I'm gonna, like, I feel like I could change this to what? Probably 32 colors, and that would be enough. If we're not being stupid. Alright, it's exporting. And then we just need to load the GIF and export it as a PNG. Okay. And if we import it, then hopefully that will import palette. Well, first let's erase all colors. Import the palette. Okay. Is this a manageable? I actually don't know if this probably didn't actually apply anything to the mesh. Probably did not apply anything to the mesh, because I don't think it does that. Because now I need to take this palette and apply it to this, and I don't know if that's something that you can do. Yeah, and this is correctly crushed. It's identifying that all these are the same color, which is great. And if I could just apply the palette to the texture manager. Yeah, unfortunately I've never had to do this before. Okay, so this is the real palette. Dang it. I think I might have hit a dead end on what Voxel Shop can do. That is Magic of Voxel. I dot Vox from the game. Well, if you figure something out, that would be pretty amazing. But yeah, I think being able to smartly apply this palette. I doubt there's a way to do this in Voxel Shop. No. Do I have build tools? Actually, no. It's funny that it won't even load. Like, Voxel Shop at least loads it, but this tool is just like, no, your palette is wrong. You don't deserve to load it. Which I guess is what I deserve. Yeah. I mean, honestly, the wise thing for me to do would probably just to be repaint this. I think that probably would be the least time-consuming option, as much as that burdens me individually. Texture manager. I've never used textures in here either. I might be able to abuse textures to apply colors, and then I don't know. I've never used a textured mesh in Voxel Shop, so I don't know how that works at all. (32 by 32 images texture functions each side of Voxel has a different texture). Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know if that would help. You can export to a texture and crush that and then re-import, and that should work. I don't know if I can export to a texture though. Sliced model. I mean, that's not what we want. No, it's not. I agree. This is funny. If I could... Can I import sliced models? I doubt it. No, I would have to do it manually. Now, again, it seems like the best solution for all of these is just for me to freaking repaint it, which sucks, but it is not something I would want to be doing on stream, so I might just have to call it soon. Because yeah, I just don't think I can. What if I made this the Magic of Voxel format? Desktop. I wonder if that format would automatically... No, it did not automatically solve the problem, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably what I'd end up doing, Pegasus. Otherwise, yeah, it would be too much of a hassle to figure out how to do it. Once again, Magic of Voxel disappoints. I can't be too mad at Voxel Shop for giving me more power than I deserved. Oh, here we go. Pick background color. I forgot I could do this. That actually might be helpful, because I'm almost never using fancy colors. Yep. Well, that's very kind of you to even consider Pegasus. I appreciate it. I mean, at the end of the day, I could have avoided the problem in the first place by being a little bit more responsible in how I put this together. So I appreciate you're trying to extend a hand of aid to me to try to automatically crush this file's textures down. It's hilarious to think that I've abused the colors in this so much that I can't even freaking load this anymore. I actually don't think it would be the first time I've made this mistake. I think I did another model where I imported one of the game's textures and then went from there. And that's how I get myself in this mess. And it's been years and years since I made that mistake. And so, oh, you know what? I don't know why I've never done this before. Because I'm in a moment of desperation, I'm actually learning something new about Voxel Shop where, look, we have 32 by 32 bounds. Sat there and worked on Barony's code like a month and a half just because I wanted it to be stable enough to play. Oh man, jeez. That sucks that it was that unstable for you. I've actually never had Barony be terribly unstable, so it's kind of a bummer that you've had such stability issues. I mean, it's definitely a bummer. We don't want that at all. Wow, it's easy to forget how big these models are because I've been looking at them for so long. I'm like, yeah, this is a little 1x1. That's a tiny model. Nope, that's a big freaking model, dude. Nice freaking model! I'm gonna put everything into its proper place here. Debug build still won't compile plain. We got the release build to compile plain. That's cool. Okay, well, we wanted to do A, B, and C when it came to these platforms today, and we did A, basically. But one of the benefits of the work that we did today is that we came out with 5 bridge models instead of just 1, which I think is a win. I think it'll give us the ability to make the game feel a lot more polished, and I'm excited about that. I learned a technical lesson that I needed to learn. That was good. And let's get rid of this table. Save. We learned a few things about Voxel Shop, so that was good. And you know what? We set ourselves up to do better next time. And who can be too mad about that? So with that, I want to thank everyone for tuning in today. I appreciate your time, and Pegasus, especially your desire to help. I really appreciate that. And hopefully by tomorrow I will have solved this, whether it be through Pegasus help or my own just repainting stuff. And then we'll just be ready to do more fun stuff instead of, whatever this is. You want to see it do well? Me too, Pegasus. Me too. All right, have a great freaking Monday. It's been great chilling with y'all. And maybe we'll see you tomorrow. if I'm lucky, tomorrow will be me happily placing more bridge models throughout the game and then testing their placement, and that will be that will feel like a lot more is getting done. All right, cheers, bye.